From Korn and Pantera to Emperor and 9 Inch Nails, this is the soundtrack to 12 Crazy Months. Now, grunge was still grabbing the headlines in 1994, but metal was fighting back with courtesy of Machine Head and Pantera. Norway's Emperor and Mayhem cut through the headlines and forced the world to take black metal seriously, while in California, Korn were giving birth to a whole new sound with their debut album. This is the soundtrack to 12 tumultuous months. Death metal was starting to wane by 94, but no one told Cannibal Corpse their killer fourth album added brains to the blood and gore. Before parting to form 6 Feet Under and taking the original band logo with him, Chris Barnes helped helm some of the most horrifyingly and violent and undeniably catchy anthems in the band's arsenal. Who else could be so acclaimed for creating a song as contemptible as Stripped, Raped and Strangled? American black metal in the early 90s was a far different beast to the polished, unit-shifting phenomenon we're used to these days. Churches were burned to the ground, graves were desecrated, and at least 3 homicides were connected to the scene. At the centre of the soon-to-be circus were Emperor, but with their 1994 debut album, black metal's leading lights grew up quickly, bringing symphonic ambition to the crepuscular murk. Not many people will argue against the case that Emperor are the greatest black metal band of all time, or that they raised the genre into new realms of art. In the Nightside Eclipse amplified black metal's invocation of otherness, and it imprinted the inhuman on an immeasurably vast and majestic canvas. Keyboards swirled like convention angels of death, guitars surged as if attempting to reach escape velocity from this mortal realm, and Emperor tore open new spaces that drew in innumerable voyagers in their wake. Korn's self-titled debut A Game Changer will be a bit of an understatement. The album that jump-started the new metal revolution sounded like nothing that had come before it. Its influence can still be heard today. The record transformed the landscape of alternative music through the 90s and 2000s, and as far as Korn, their career as modern metal standard bearers was set. One tumultuous career over 25 years, and later they are still carrying the flame. In the year of game-changing albums, Burn My Eyes was one truly for the ages. Inspired by riots, religious cults, and a desire to push the boundaries of heavy music, its impact was nothing short of monstrous. Released by Roadrunner Records on 1994, August 9, it was held as an instant classic and became the label's biggest selling debut ever, an accolade it retained until Slipknot's breakthrough in 1999. With its groundbreaking blend of thuggish grooves, vicious thrash, and hip-hop bravado, not to mention frontman Rob Flynn's incendiary lyrics, Burn My Eyes did more than most to redefine metal in the 90s. The album's impact was immediate, particularly in the UK and Europe, but until those sales figures rolled in, Rob remained unsure whether the band had a bright future, but 25 years on, few fans nor Rob himself would dispute the enduring power of an album which went on to truly change the world. Mayhem are one of the most influential black metal bands on the planet, and their album, The Mysteriis of Sathanas, remains a timeless classic. Mayhem's boldest album was almost overshadowed by the death of main man Euronymous. Yet the biggest testament to its artistic value is perhaps the fact that the discussion of its recording, songwriting and performance qualities continues to outweigh the highly notable circumstances of its creation. Sinister and menacing, this was a fitting epitaph. Many fans balked at Megadeth's deliberate drift into less thrashy, more radio-friendly mainstream territory. But with hindsight, Youthanasia is a very strong record and one that makes a lot of sense than the similarly inclined but generally dreadful Super Collider. Some of the band's finest 90s cuts are contained within Train of Consequences, Addicted to Chaos, Reckoning Day, Eternally Man, are also by Monsters, and Blood of Heroes is one of the great unsung Megadeth tunes. The last truly great album for more than a decade. The point where Trent Reznor went from slotty electronic punk to industrial metal Emperor. One man's effed up mind has never sounded so cool. Called out the address where actress Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson family, the down spiral paints a chilling portrait of the societal, moral and personal collapse. Influenced by David Bowie's Low and constructed from heavily processed guitar sounds, glacial electronics and distorted sound walls, its nightmarish atmospherics are enhanced by Reznor's man on the edge musings on religion, addiction, degradation, and despair. The downward spiral is unremittingly bleak, utterly believable, and unquestionably Reznor's finest hour. The follow-up to Vulgar Display of Power made its predecessors sound like Mr. Blobby. This is still the heaviest album to reach number 1 in the US, and it rocketed the band's seemingly never-ending touring schedule into the arenas. Far beyond Driven, Pantera had truly arrived. The likes of Strength Beyond Strength and the Grammy-nominated I'm Broken and quite malevolent Slaughtered proved that Pantera was still adept at creating near-lethal metal. Commercially, they'd never be as big again, but the cracks would soon show. A critical and commercial hit, Superunknown captivated Soundgarden into the mainstream without them compromising any of their artistic integrity. Their palette might have had more colours than had been displayed on previous albums like The Muscular Louder Than Love, and there were psychedelic echoes in some of the record's grooves, but in songs like Let Me Drown, like Suicide, Soundgarden's power driver approach endured. The album was informed by Sylvia Plath's poetry, and the album's smash hit Black Hole Song came with a video that felt like the bleakest of acid trips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.